It is now my honor to present the valedictorian of the JD class, David Schnobrick.
Thank you, Dean Garcia. Monsignor Cassell, Governor Martinez. Monsignor Cassell, Governor Martinez, Dean Garcia, members of the Board of Trustees and the Law School Board of Advisors, members of the faculty and the administration, families, friends, most particularly my fellow classmates. There was a man at the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona who was arguably one of the fastest runners in history. This man's name was Derek Redmond, and he was favored to win the 400-meter sprint. He set a new world record in his first race, and he won the quarterfinal. And when the starter's pistol fired in the semifinal, Derek Redmond exploded into the lead. But 150 meters into the race, disaster struck. Derek crumpled to the track with a severely torn hamstring. It would deny him his place atop the Olympic pedestal, but Derek Redmond himself was not to be denied. Despite the fact that all the other competitors had crossed the finish line, Derek Redmond rose as the stretcher bearers moved in. He struggled to his feet and he began, miraculously, to run. In an extraordinary display of courage, although he could put almost no weight on his right leg, looking on in disbelief, the crowd began to cheer. It seemed all but certain, though, that Derek Redmond's leg would not make it to the finish line. He wasn't going to get there. From the top row of the spectator stands, a man began to run down the stairs, and he leaped onto the field. "Let me through," the man cried. "That's my son out there." He caught up to his son on the track and put an arm around his waist, and he said, "Son, you don't have to do this." Derek Redmond replied, "Pop, yes, I do." "Fine then," his father said. "We started this together, and we will finish it together." And with tears streaming down Derek's face, they walked the final 100 meters and crossed the finish line together. My fellow classmates, my friends, we started our own journey together 3 years ago, and together today we finish it. We are law school graduates, but like Derek Redmond, we do not cross the finish line alone. We have learned the law. We've been taught to think like lawyers. Fully half of us were privileged to be educated in the ways of contract by Professor Sullivan, to whom I am personally thankful. He pushed me further than I ever thought I could go. Whenever any of us read a contract now, we will scan it for intent, content, and communication. Should we find it, we will know we're in the presence of an offer, as Professor Sullivan is today. An offer of thanks from his students. Professor Sullivan walks across the finish line with us today. We studied torts with professors like Dean Hernandez, who awakened us to the fact that none of us is the reasonable person. Some less than others. He walks beside us as we cross the finish line as well. Professors like Professor Kang helped us unravel the mysteries of the Constitution, while simultaneously creating about 50 more. Professors Kravitz and Mahoney and others taught us to write like lawyers, while Dean Dykes made sure we received the real-world experience we needed to learn the things that could not be imparted within the confines of the classroom. As we walk across the finish line today, they are all beside us. They have been our mentors, and they have been our friends as much as they have been our educators. And on behalf of the entire class of 2015, we express our deepest thanks to all the faculty and staff at St. Thomas Law. But our journey has not been without sacrifice. Many of us will walk across the finish line today fatigued. We will lean on our family and our loved ones for support. Those family and loved ones will walk across the finish line with us as well. Others are exhausted to the point nearing physical injury. Many of the faculty have supported us Perhaps Amar has supported us. They have borne much of our weight, lest we too crumple to the track. They walk across the finish line with us as well. Still others will be dragged, limp, across the finish line by parents who have co-signed for student loans. Those parents cross the finish line with us today as well. We would not be here today without them. They have at times wrapped their physically and emotionally supportive arms around us, and on behalf of the entire class of 2015, we thank them also. It is difficult to have a significant other as a law student, and so I'm personally keenly aware that without the unwavering support of my beautiful wife, Michelle, and my 2 young sons, Alexander and Christopher, who crossed the finish line with me today, as well as the rest of my family, including my St. Thomas Law Review family, I would not be standing here today. I am strengthened by all of you, not the least by my memory of my grandfather, Arthur, who watches this commencement from heaven. I am humbled and profoundly thankful to my entire family. Like Derek Redmond, we have not quit. When his pain was at its greatest, he willed himself forward, as have we. When he fell, he got back up again, as have we. Law school's hard, yet here we stand. And that means this building is filled with powerful and determined people. So as we go out into the world as lawyers, as some of us work in the public sector and others in the private, we will be prosecutors and we will be defenders. We will be fighters and we will be peacemakers. And I am reminded that we have chosen a profession that will bring us into contact at times with the darkness in our communities, our country, and our world. You can't turn on the television these days without seeing something more horrible than the previous day, and it is said by many that light ebbs from our world. But it is at moments like this, at times like this, in places like this, right here, right now, that I know differently. As I look out at the graduating class of St. Thomas Law, I am breathtaking. If you could see what I see looking out right now at you, I see incredible brightness, an overwhelming light that we must shine everywhere we go. And so as I close, I will leave you with the words of the poet Dylan Thomas, who said, "Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light." I don't like the words might have been, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. Remember your own reasons as you cross the finish line today, and remember who walks across it with you. Make it count. I'm proud to know each one of you. Thank you, congratulations, and God bless.